Please consider supporting me on Patreon for bonus perks. It could really help me make more toy reviews.
Hello, it's KRBrickBot, and I just shipped this over because I realize now how much of an important trio these three are. Like, you know, of course everyone is interested in Captain Black Hood, and then the second runner-up is Buffalo Crush. Yeah, before Little Buster Gallon is overlooked, they were established part of a trio, little camaraderie, and then the fandom really took the liking to that. Yeah, so I'm giving Buster Gallon his due, his time to shine in this market. So even though, yeah, it's not as interesting alt modes as these two, this is still an interesting Cardbot. Yeah, you can see his dozer mode is right there, like pushing up some rocks. It's a nice gradient, yellow to green and blue. Yep, there's his animation model there. And the other side with June. Buster shot, his Cardbot weapon. The Gatling, another hoser dozer pushing up rocks. Yep, so there's the main figure and the card right here and his main tool or weapon there. So when photos first leaked of Buster Gallon, it was kind of hard to tell what he turned into. Because, yeah, this is a very innocuous type of robot. Not many visible vehicle parts. And it did kind of look like he was a 2-in-1 combiner because those are some very distinct halves, a green top and teal bottom. Yeah, it looked like two halves that combined, but no, this is just one robot who just had a very interesting fashion statement. Well, just to be fair, I guess clothes are usually like that, just a green shirt and teal pants. Just we usually don't see that in robots to have such a distinct top and bottom. Usually the colors are dispersed throughout. Well, there is the yellowish orange, the orangish yellow sprinkled throughout, both on plastic and paint. Yeah, it's especially inconsistent with the forearms here. Yeah, but otherwise the paint around the chest and the shoulders, that's plastic, I believe. You know, plastic knees and the toes. And these side hips, which kind of cleverly do look like little bags or satchels. They do subtly complement the head, which he's wearing a very big gas mask or a breather apparatus with a cap. Kind of really sells his engineering, his engineer mad scientist archetype they gave him. Including a visor with sadly not enough space for big eyes. The green and teal is certainly a much more interesting and striking color scheme than just prototype construction yellow. Compared to the animation model, he is looking a bit slimmer, a bit less wide. Especially in the shoulders, I guess more prominent railings on the side here. Shovel blades that actually clean up behind the arms. A much more compact waist with actual teal skirts. And I guess arrows on the knees and a bit of a different orientation here. And they got lower leg guards here. Yep, they're really going out of the way to make the animation and toy models really different. And of course, I think the eyes are bigger than his mask. So his main weapon is this sort of multi-tool. I guess it looks like some sort of tool gun. Little nozzle gun, maybe for filling up stuff. Yeah, I can either go in hand like that. Or I suppose you could flip this around, so it's a wrench. You can use the wrench here with a handle in the way. Unless you kind of flip down like this. That's one way to wrench it. Extended wrench. And this teal multi-tool is 5mm. Yeah, so very handy tool and a rarity for Korean Transformers because usually they don't consider the 5mm system. But it's nice to have this. A tool which has much more colors like the green and yellow. But all teal doesn't look so bad for this thing. Except for this one spot that is teal that's not painted teal but black. The shovel blades right on the fists and right below there might be a bit annoying, but as long as they're not like double-handed weapons, he should handle most guns just fine. Speaking of guns, his main signature metal Cardbot weapon Yeah, just soft ratchet those around. Flip this panel up. Yeah, rotate that, rotate that, rotate that. For the Buster Gatling. Yes, equip that right up front. And he can have a twin Vulcan fire. Yeah, clips here, watch out for the... Yeah, these kind of hinge like this, so... It is nicely painted with silver and metallic blue. It's not quite as bright as the clear yellow seen in the show. And I guess clear yellow wouldn't work well with bright metallic blue, so I guess it's darker on this one. Yeah, you may not really like that this is not color consistent because this is much more orange. But I guess this is what they worked with. For articulation, he has a full ball socketed head, which kind of pops off really easily if you're looking up because of the mask and neck collision. Nice soft ratchet clickety shoulders all the way around. Like 3 clicks each quarter. Which does move pretty freely even with the Gatling. Clickier ratchets out that much, and a nice bicep swivel. And a 90-degree elbow bend. Nothing at the wrist except for the pin holding the blade. A soft ratcheted waist swivel. You only see that for transformation. And I guess transformational backward butterfly for the arm. Nice clicky ratchets forward. Clicky ratchet back. Nearly all the way out. No thigh swivels. A soft ratchet knee with an odd back mounting point here. And I guess the double toe down. Yeah, it has a good articulation like the most other Cardbots. Like the bicep swivels, but no thigh swivels. But at least he has a waist. That's uncommon. And a hinged front flap for a storage reason. Buster Gallon is a pretty good wide Voyager size. Now on to transformation. First hide away the head. With this entire cabin just hanging out there. Hey, that kind of looks like a big welding mask. Even has some asymmetrical slashes on there. Yeah, just rotate those arms. No, not yet. You have to do the legs first. Then you could rotate that. Then yeah, take the flaps on the back with some exclamation signs there. That's pretty neat. Yeah, then turn those treads around, flip that around. And then, yeah, I suppose like that, and that's the armor mode. This is an official mode. Right there in the instructions, although that's kind of innocuous, it's just another step in the instructions because it's not highlighted anything. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like a angry eye man robot drone piloted thing. I suppose this makes it stronger, showing the ugly screw holes. Yeah, but this thing never appeared in the show. I thought it would, but it didn't. Not once. Yeah, so this is just a mid mode they just came up with and called it official. So let's get to the rest of the vehicle mode. Yeah, just rotate those arms. I guess the transformation technically doesn't require bicep swivels, but nice they have that. Click that together. Smokestacks up. And then, yeah, click the backs of these blades to here. Nice solid clicks. Then you get to here. Fold that in. Chainsaw up. Yeah, kind of fits together like that. So Buster Gallon's bulldozer type is kind of like a medium bulldozer or a ship hold bulldozer. Just the most prominent thing is this upper traction wheel that's on the top. kind of thin threads and also kind of weird broken sculpt when you fold that flap. Yeah, but it has a main center cabin there with those angry eyes, which is still pretty inaccurate to the show model. Like, it should be, you know, longer eyes, just longer pupils. That's the main signature of the eyes that they just do not make accurate onto toys. Sticker them up. And I guess some other minor details here that's not missing, like a much more developed cab instead of these arm gaps instead of this developed front. Kind of hard to do. And I guess more silver smokestacks that are really backwards facing. Yeah, just gonna be billowing out like that. Yeah, it's just because of the transformation, because these flip out over the shoulders. Yeah, but you know, a little hinge would have helped. And I guess the yellow mudguard here that should extend all the way across. And the little black headlights here. I could nitpick about the inaccuracies to the animation detail all day. Yeah, but it's close enough for a bulldozer. A green and teal bulldozer. Very interesting colors. Yeah, this is a nice weapon storage. Just like, kind of looks like the back plow or the scooper. Not really. Kind of looks like a shape. Baby blue windows and doesn't roll. No fake wheels, just the fake stumps at least. Kind of disappointing, and it's a little gappy. Yeah, just the upper arms just floating there. That's why you could rotate the shoulders like that. And I guess it doesn't really work as a functioning bulldozer. Yeah, these do look like the arms for lifting the blade. You can kind of wiggle it, but those are clips here, which I fear for the longevity of these clips. It's pretty thick plastic around, but yeah, hopefully it stays. And the arrows on his forearms, yeah, it's kind of clever. They are reoriented in a way, so it kind of implies the bulldozer blade lifting up and down, not that it actually can. Also a big coincidence that you can put the card weapon on the back. You have to remove this tool though, doesn't really peg in with just one hole. Yeah. So you can have backward facing Gatling guns or anti-air Gatling guns, or directly forward facing Gatling guns, which would hit the blade. So oh yeah, I'll let you do it like this. Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. Buster Gallon looks like he scales pretty well with the other cars in vehicle mode too, like a small or medium dozer. Buster Gallon may just be another bulldozer, but it is certainly a unique take on the bulldozer. And of course I love the colors. I'm loving the colors. Yeah, just very unique colors. Which really does make it stand out for the typical construction vehicles, and plus there's not been a construction transformer as of recent. They're just usually relegated to Constructicons, not their own individual bots. So yeah, nice to have this in this current year. Yeah, also pretty good articulation for what it is, especially with a little transformation of waist swivel. And plus, you know, the head design really does inform the character. Like, it's a nice, like, inventor scientist archetype instead of the usual construction worker archetype. Yeah, so he's a fun character in the show as well. And who knew introducing these three Cardbots in the same episodes would make the fandom grow a liking to them as a collective trio, like a ragtime team that got together and formed a nice relationship, like a boss-employee relationship. So these two may be the most popular Cardbots of all, including Heavy Iron. Please don't overlook Buster Gallon. He's a nice metal Cardbot toy too. I also solidly recommend him.